Hi, Office Work champions. Welcome to this month's Office Work Insider. So let's get right into it. Martin, what news have you got for us?
Hi Chris, I've picked two things for us this time around. One is in the admin center and one's in the verifier. So let me first start with the easier one or quicker one. Whoever has configured Office Work will know their way around here. We now have a new card under the administrator, which will allow any customer that is using our consumption model to download the consumption events. So basically what we send to Microsoft that gets invoiced, and that will then come in this structure. That will allow you to reconcile the invoice from Microsoft and understand which products got invoiced for what user.
It's just a very transparent way to see everything that was invoiced by Microsoft and which app. You can then also see which apps are most used by which users and how often and all that. And that's what per month you would get that invoice, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, you can actually download it whenever you want. It will just have all the data in there. Currently, it's got all data in there. Over time, we will cut it so that you'll only get maybe the last 6 months or so. But currently, you're getting everything.
Oh, okay. So it's a all-encompassing one. So ever since you started your consumption model, you will see everything that has been built.
We envision this will get too big for downloading, so we will at some stage just be cutting it. But right now, it's all fine. And the second thing, this will take a little longer to show. I'm going to show an entire use case, and it's based on the verifier that has been updated and got a new UI. And to illustrate that use case, I'm going to start working in my slide library, which is a document library in SharePoint, and I have different slides here which people can insert into their presentation. And I want to make sure, we discussed this before, but just be aware there's this update column which defines how these slides get updated for existing presentations. I'm going to make two changes. I'm going to take an automatic change, so the market share, I'm just going to, as an owner of this slide, I'm going to quickly open it and adjust it to the latest numbers. So actually the cool thing is we have risen. We are now 56% market share. I'm making it a little bigger, and I find this is worth to come across in green. So I'm going to change the color to green, maybe dark green as being an important thing we're talking about right now. Good, that was change number one. I'm going to close that. Next, we are more focused on EVs. Let's say that has changed, and I'm going to actually now go and change the product slide. The product slide showed more a cosmetic picture. I want to get an EV picture, and for that I'm obviously going to use another add-in, which is the image chooser, just to pick up the EVs from the marketing department. You can see I'm here connected to the official images, and I'm going to take this image of this EV here. Obviously it's a bit too big. Let me quickly crop the image. So here I go and make it a bit more palatable for this use case. I'm going to crop it on both sides. Excellent. And then I'm just going to paint this formatting onto my image, so I don't have to redo this. This I can now delete. Let me change the angle a bit. Yeah, I like it. Done. So this is our new products chapter slide. So I'm going to close this. And basically, as a person responsible for these slides, I'm kind of finished. So I'm gonna take this away. And now I'm going to switch gear. I'm going to be a user that will open up an existing presentation, and we can now together see exactly what's going to happen. So here I am. I'm opening up this presentation. And here is, for instance, the market share slide. And you see, without doing anything, this market share slide just updated. And that's because the definition of that slide was to be automatic. And the other slide here did not get updated, but the verifier is now separated in two areas. One is showing all the updates, and here you can see this is the update, and you can see my updated product slide. So I can just click on update, and then my product slide gets updated in my current presentation. But you can also see all the assets being used. So these are the assets, the actual slide. This is the the management team slide, this is the market share slide, and this is the product slide. And so by separating this and by showing a thumbnail, we believe we have a more compelling, faster way of understanding if my presentation is up to date. If I have this nice big green tick, I'm actually all fine. And if I want to better understand what is this all linked to, you can see I have 3 actually linked assets in here, which I can then browse through. And this may seem simple, but it was quite work to rearrange the way we presented ourselves here. And this feature, I think we explained in the previous presentation, that you can also decide whether this file here should automatically verify itself when you open it. This was the case, but if you don't like that, of course, you can also click to manual, or you can say, oh, you know what, please go and check now in case somebody right now has changed the slide. It will check it right now and it would appear here, but obviously no one has. Mm-hmm. That was the update, yeah.
And the automatic and manual, that is defined by the power user?
Well, it's ideally the template you use in the beginning has been set already to what is the way of working in your organization. But once you've created a document from that template, the user can actually change that. He can say, no, for this deck that I'm working on, I don't want this automatic anymore. I just want this turned off. And in that case, the verifier will never run. The user will have to think about running it himself. But when he runs the verifier, obviously he will run like it usually runs. It will auto update anything that's set on automatic, and it will ask for updates for anything that's set to optional.
Okay. So if it's set to manual, then it's up to the user to decide, even if the content in itself is an automatic update?
Yeah, if it doesn't launch, if he sets it to manual, the add-in will not launch. Not even in the background, which means your presentation just stays as it is. It's never going to be touched. It's you manually have to say, verify it now. You have to launch the verifier to get it checked.
Okay. And if they're all optional, the verifier will still launch, or only when there's an automatic version included in it? In terms of the content, not of the document itself.
That's a good one. So if you launch the verifier and say verify it now, then it will update all the automatics ones. And if there's no manual updates, if there's no optional updates found, it will not show you a list of optional updates.
Okay, understood.
But we just believe that this separation of showing all the updates in one list and having the assets separated, before it was underneath each other, kind of might have been confusing. Here I clearly have a focus on, I'm just looking at the updates, am I up to date? And I can kind of define how I want my updating to work. And over here in the assets, it's more about seeing what's actually in the presentation. And I could individually go and say, unlink a certain slide, because let's say the market share numbers, I showed this to a group of finance people, and I don't want to show that tomorrow that there's a change. I can just go here and say, unlink this thing, and then this slide is not connected anymore. And even if you run the verifier and it updates, it will not have a connection and it will not update that slide anymore.
Okay, understood.
So it's a lot of power in the hands of the user, and a lot of power in the hands of whoever creates the slide library and the slides, to make sure that with the least amount of effort, presentations are just kept up to date. And from experience, we know that most companies will have a healthy mix between automatic and manual, and that their templates usually are set to automatic update. So the mix between automatic and manual, just to make sure I got this correct, I meant, of course, between automatic and optional. And a few are on off because those are being used as like a starting point to create your own slide.
Yeah, so here you pretty much have a combination of everybody in an organization that can, as a power user, define which slide to update automatically or manually. Like the management team might be updated by HR, the market share would be updated by finance, the product by marketing, and everyone then from those departments can decide which ones should be updated automatically and which ones not.
Exactly. Okay. In this sample now, all these slides are in the same library, but that's absolutely not necessary. You can have separate libraries for different departments taking care of their stuff, and the verifier will just pick across all of the libraries available to that user. It's still a prerequisite that user that actually has the presentation and opens it, that user needs to have read access to those assets. Otherwise, we can't compare if anything has changed based on the current version that's in the deck and the version that's in the library.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for all the information today.
Yeah, very welcome, and hope to show more next month.